What's up, guys? So Archeworld is less than 12 hours away, and we have a lot of news to talk about today. So the final updates for Archeworld has gone out. So day 7 tip, it says cancellation of land rental contract is now possible. So this means that you can cancel your land anytime that you want. You're not going to get your money back, but you can cancel it and go to a different area or different location if you want to, which is something that was much needed from the alpha. Once you bought something, you were locked into it and you could not cancel it. That was a terrible thing. So you could explore different lands. They also did a bonus tip for the last day of Archeworld. Basic skill to avoid being attacked by other characters for a certain period of time while in a community center of conflict war zones is added. So this sounds like there's going to be a way to flag yourself as like immune to attacks if you are in certain community centers or housing kind of zone areas. So it just says community center, but something like that where like if you're in the community center, it's a safe spot where you can't be attacked if you use this skill, it sounds like. So we'll see how this acts in game. That could be an interesting feature, give you protection, to dodge fights. And then they also have characters and guilds can only be named in English. So it's an interesting change there. I wonder what the foreign guilds think about this, the Korean, Chinese, Asian, Japanese, and so forth. And then, so lastly, there is an update to the white paper. This is actually really, really important. So they didn't put the specifics here, so we're going to go and show you in the white paper. So you go all the way down to the bottom here where it says updates. And the white paper, for those that don't know, is essentially the Bible, the God book of Archeworld. This is where kind of everything is supposed to be. And if you want to know the rules or the restrictions or what's going on in the game in the future, the roadmap and so forth, it's all in here. This is their Bible, essentially. So their updates here, they just say here, updates August 23rd, the game pillars, the modification to character progression, exchange, various contents, Tokenomics, addition of Bora platform fee, and policies on the burn. So that's a very big thing right there. They are now talking about the burn rate, which they never said that anything about burning before. Tokenomics modifications of minimum amount of withdrawal and daily maximum amount of withdrawal. This is also a huge, huge change. We're going to get into this really, really quick. Additions to company earnings, modifications to land NFT, including rent on company-owned rent fees, modifications to NFT minted by the users, and the roadmap is updated, which is a very bad change. We'll just jump into this. So the roadmap says that North America will not launch until 2023 Q1 now. So that is a sneak peek on that update there. Let's go into this and show you what has changed that I found, because they don't actually highlight it, but let's go into number 2 here. So the game pillars. And essentially, I think they updated the lore a little bit. So the lore is all about the expedition to the garden, and it's talking about traveling to Aurora and going to the garden and controlling the areas up there. Gear progression, they show you that, character progression, skills. Then we have factions, crime, trial. Guild is a key component in RVR content. Users can either create a new guild or join an existing guild. As the guild progression, guild capacities, as well as guild buffs will grow. Guilds can advance to Aurora with the ultimate aim to explore Aurora. Guilds that have a claim to territory can develop the territory into a nation and declare a player nation. A player nation can generate earnings by trade of territory supplies and participate in the decision-making of in-game fees and various balances as DAO. So essentially it's saying what Archeage did is that you own the country, you own the castle, and you own the land up there, and you can set the fees and stuff for the taxes and things like that is my guess. You're going to have some trade goods that is going to be exclusive up there. So nothing really changed with the guilds and forming a guild and forming a player nation up there. A player nation may have a larger cap. So currently the guild cap is at 30, and then it looks like it goes up 3 every time that your guild levels up. We don't know the maximum level, but it's probably level 10 would be my guess. So that means a max guild size of level 60, but again, we don't know that for sure. That's just a guess. So next up we have the Blue Salt Reserve Fund and land and buildings. So they talk about the funds and talk about Archeum, and this is very important. So this is something that I don't think people realize, is that in the beginning of the game, the balance of Archeum will impact the value of users realized from play and earn. The fund intends to guarantee appropriate value of Archeum. So guarantee appropriate value Archeum. That means they kind of have a set price in mind that they want Archeum to be in this range. Archeum will be bought by the fund if there is a surplus and sold if the market is too hyped and there is need to stabilize the market. So again, they directly said right there that they are actually going to be selling and buying Archeum if it goes out of this range. So Archeum can be sold for 1,000. So you get 1,000 Archeum and you can put it on the auction house and you can sell it. They have a specific price in their head that they want it to be at, whether it's 100 blue salts or 200 blue salt or 300 blue salts. We don't know what the specific price is that they want Archeum to be at. And I really wish that they would have told us what the price that they're trying to set it at is, but we'll have to find that out by trial and error. And so they are going to be selling Archeum and they're going to be buying Archeum. That's what they're saying here. Blue Salt Reserve Fund, that's the job of the reserve fund. It says purchase and sale of Archeum by the fund will take place with a blue salt merchant appearing in the game to sell or buy Archeum at a fixed price and volume. So this is a little confusing. And then it says during launch of the game, supply of Archeum may take place without the appearance of a blue salt merchant. So we don't know how this is going to play out, but they are going to be at the beginning of the game selling Archeum, it sounds like. Because at the beginning of the game, there is not enough supply of Archeum, so they are going to sell and make a set floor price on Archeum, whether it's 1,000 blue salt or 2,000 blue salt or 100 blue salt. We don't know what the price that XL Games is going to set for Archeum, but there will be some kind of guidelines. Hopefully it's visible. We can find out how much it's going to be, but they are going to maintain this. It says the fund will be maintained by bringing a portion of the exchange fee collected from the exchange, so the auction house, as well as a portion of the lease fee of the lands owned by us. Only up to 1% of maximum supply of bslt will be used to maintain the balance. So they say there's a certain limit. They're only going to use maximum of 10 million bslt. So that's a lot of bslt though. That's a ton of bslt. Please refer to the tokenomics section of the white paper for more information. And then it talks about lease and usage of land. So I believe this was changed slightly. Users will be given the right to use the land that can be leased by paying advanced rent and executing the contract. The lease period is 4 weeks. Blue salt paid by the tenant will be paid out to the landlord less 10%. So that means if you rent from someone, the landlord's going to get all of that money, but XL Games is actually going to take a 10% cut. Land NFT holders can decide whether to lease their land. Decisions whether to lease their land becomes a form in which the decision can be made through direct interaction with certain conditions and periods within the game. All this means, it's a fancy mumbo jumbo, says that you have to go to your land in the game and you have to set it to public or private. And that's all that says right there. They just say it in fancy, crazy words. So you have to go into the game, you have to set your land to public sale if you want to let people rent your land. If you don't, there's a system in place that actually turns your land into public after 7 days. So most people are not going to probably enter the game and set their land because they don't understand or don't know this. But in 7 days, if they aren't using their land personally, then it's going to get rented out, which is a cool feature. And I definitely excited to see what is available in 7 days. So 7 days from the launch of the game is a very, very important time. And that is going to be after that first maintenance. And then they talk about rankings. So rankings on arena, PvP, character progression, and productions will be available for display for all users. Ranking is operated on a seasonal basis. So seasonal to me means every 3 months, but we'll see what this means in game. It wasn't in the alpha. With high-ranking users receiving various rewards depending on their rankings at the end of the season. High-ranking users in each category receive bslt as a reward at the end of the season. Such rewards will be distributed from the bslt allocated from rewards. Amounts of bslt rewarded to users at the end of each season will be fluid. Various features, content, as well as evaluation and rewards for different categories will be constantly added. Furthermore, we intend to have DAO decide the types, categories of rankings, and the rewards in the future. So the DAO is just a community. It's just a way to say the community decides. So they're going to be voting on things in the future. Rankings were not in the game, but it definitely is on the roadmap. So ARC passes in. It says it's going to take about 14 or 30 days to complete, which is very interesting because they have a quest, a contest that says for the first people that complete the premium ARC pass is going to get some prizes. And there's supposedly giving out prizes every 7 days, but if you can only complete it in 14 days, then that's a weird thing. So we'll see how that shakes out in the game. Of course, the game functions are not always going to be 100% accurate on the white paper because they're not going to constantly update it, which they should, but yeah. So talk about all the other phases. That's nothing really changed there. Let's go over the tokenomics here because they did change some stuff in tokenomics. So they changed a little bit in the allocation. So they updated this page. They changed the font at least. And then it tells you a lot of the systems like the unlock period. And one of the biggest things that was changed is there's an amount that is going to be burned now. Before, there was no blue salt that was actually going to be burned. Everything was going to be locked up. So I believe it's here in the treasury. So it says certain portion of BSLT allocated on this account may be subject to burn in order to stabilize BSLT value and control circulated amounts. It's very interesting. So treasury is also where everything's going to go. So anything that is sold on the auction house, there's a 10% fee. 5% of that is going to go to, I believe, the treasury. And then 5% of that will go over to the company revenue. So the treasury will actually be growing. This account that owns the treasury that starts out here at 150 million will probably be growing dramatically over time as people are buying and selling items, and then also just from other activities like withdrawing BSLT or depositing BSLT, all the fees that are associated. So that is a big change, that they are actually going to burn some tokens, which is a nice change. People like token burning because that will, in theory, raise the price. And so then the deposits. This is a big change too, because before they didn't talk about the Bora platform or deposits, but there's a 1% fee on depositing BSLT. So if you have 1,000 BSLT and you want to deposit it in the game, you're actually going to end up losing, what is that, 10 BSLT for depositing that? So 1%. And it says it's going to be converted to the liquidity pool and not by the users, which will be covered by the liquidity pool and not by the users. Oh, no. Okay, so it's saying there's a Bora platform fee of 1% of the deposited BSLT, which will be covered by the liquidity pool and not by the users. Okay, so that actually, I was wrong on that. That means they are going to cover the 1% deposit fee. So the user will not actually see a deposit fee. And if you do deposit 1,000, they are going to end up giving, Bora that 10 BSLT from the liquidity pool and not from you. It says only one wallet will be allowed per account, and because the issue of in-game integration, change of wallet will not be possible. So you're stuck with that one wallet. And then this is the big change of this news is there is a fee on withdrawing. It's 10 BSLT, which has been standard since the beginning, but the amount that you have to withdraw is 1,000 minimum. So the minimum withdrawal amount is 1,000 BSLT, which means it's very, very difficult to withdraw BSLT from the game once you've put it in there. A lot of things are going to be very, very cheap. So most people got 50 or 300 BSLT from doing alpha tests or from contests and giveaways and so forth. But they can't actually take out that, and they cannot actually sell that until they get 1,000 BSLT. And then there's a daily withdrawal cap of 10,000 BSLT. So yeah, BSLT needs to be way more quantifiable than it currently is for people to be buying and selling it and withdrawing it out of the game. So if you think of it this way, all the free-to-play players that have signed up are getting 50 BSLT right now for pre-registration. Well, I'm almost all. The first 7,000, so pretty much all, I would say, are getting 50 BSLT. But in order for them to actually withdraw that BSLT, that means like 21 of them would have to transfer the BSLT, the 50 that they had, to one account, and then out of those, that one person could withdraw. And the reason it's 21 is because you lose 10% on every transfer. So if you're trying to transfer BSLT to one account, you have to put something up on the auction house. You have to buy it for 50 BSLT, and then they'll transfer it to the other account. That account that sold something will end up getting 45 BSLT, not that total 50, because there's that 10% auction house fee. So it's going to take about 21 users to pull all of that BSLT together. And I'm sure there will be some bots that had 21 accounts that are able to do this, but the price impact is going to be very, very minimum, I think. And I think this is actually a good change. 1,000 minimum withdrawal is very, very high and very, very difficult to get your BSLT out. But in the future, I think that prices will start to rise as more players will start jumping into the game and bringing more BSLT in. I do think that BSLT will definitely significantly decrease in value. I think the 20-cent BSLT currently is way too high. I think we're going to go down to about 2 cent or 1 cent BSLT. I think that is more of a sustainable price for the game for BSLT. So we'll see how this plays out, but those are the big changes. And then they did talk about the roadmap, which I touched upon earlier. And it is really just essentially that they said that North America is now happening in 2023, which is a terrible, terrible change, I think. So I am very, very sad that North America got pushed back. They updated these things, completed. The alpha test completed. Live service, it's opening up. Client will offer 5 languages. And then, let's see. We intend to build on the fandom card NFT and land NFT, expand various content in the game into NFTs. No restricted to specific categories of pets, vehicles, vessels, or buildings. We plan NFTs to be universally utilized across all contents, which means all of their servers. So if you're playing Asia, which is why a lot of people are actually playing the Asia server, then they can transfer that stuff over to North America server or to Europe server when they do go live, and that's your home server. So essentially, the Asian server acts as a head start server for all the other servers once this system is up and running. And yes, it will kind of suck for the people that did not play in the Asia server and do not have a head start, but it is what it is. That's how this kind of NFT crypto world works. They can't have NFTs be universal if they don't allow transfers between servers and regions like that. So, yep, and then this is the big one. Archeworld live service, second region of the Americas to be opened. We intend to open Archeworld live service for the second region, territory North America and Latin America, along with Spanish and Portuguese language in, sad face, 2023 Q1. And then now there's no update about Europe as well. So that means Europe is probably pushed back to Q2 2023. Anyway, guys, thanks. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Please hit that like button. You are, amazing. If you made it this far, thank you. And I will see you guys in game. Good luck to everyone.